I'm going to get to this next story because I have not posted about this yet, but I think you're going to find this fascinating. I have not shared this with people yet. But basically, there is a school district in Washington State, the Prosser School District, and they had a school board meeting on January 24th. And one of the board members suggested they make a change to their meetings. He said basically, why don't we introduce prayers after the Pledge of Allegiance? The guy's name is Frank Vermolm, and he made it clear like he would find it helpful. And oh, you know what, you guys? He would be glad to lead everyone in prayer too. And I'm going to play you this clip to show you what he is saying. You can't really see the people. They're very minuscule here, but you can listen to what this board member was saying, and then we'll talk about it.
Just something I was going to bring up because we don't get to, all the board members don't get to talk except for here. Just a suggestion that maybe during our meetings that we would open in prayer, like after the pledge. And, you know, I'd be willing to lead it. And I just think there's a lot of things, a lot of issues that we as a school district, a community even, you know, I think we could use some divine intervention. Mm-hmm. So just a thought, and like I said, I would be willing to lead it. So
okay. Well, I think that's a great idea.
That's a great idea. Since when? Like, what the hell? No, that's a horrible idea. But I think what you heard there is, you know, he chimes in. He's saying it would be helpful. We as a school district need divine intervention. Like, you know what that means? That means the school board is not doing its job if you need divine intervention, because your job as a school board member is to fix the school district. So he's telling on himself right there. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I will lead the prayers. And he actually says later in that segment that pastors have already reached out to him saying they would lead the prayers. And you know they're all Christian. That's what this is about. It's trying to get Christian prayers at school board meetings. So another school board member you heard at the end of that clip say, I think that's a great idea. A third school board member suggested they all take turns reciting the prayer. So all these people are like on board with this horrible and illegal idea. But this is where the story changes, because even though none of the criticisms crossed this guy's mind and he wanted to impose his faith on everybody else, and he wanted to waste time at a school board meeting to do something all these people can do back home, you know who did catch him on this and who did call him out on this? 2 students who happened to be at that school board meeting because they represented their high schools. You're going to hear from them in just a second. But one of the girls' names is Yoshimi Garcia, and the boy's name you're going to hear is Noah Dempsey. Let me show you what they said right after this discussion, because it will warm your heart to hear what these students said. All right.
I think, Yoshimi, do you have a question?
I don't think that religion should be brought up in school. No, I don't think that should happen. I personally am atheist, and I don't think that should happen. So I think that there are a lot of people with different religions, and I think that'd be disrespectful.
I would tend to agree. I think that should be something that's excluded. I mean, there's already enough controversy when it comes to saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Why bring more controversy into something that doesn't need it? That'd be my 2 cents on that. And I would say that if that was a decision you would want to make, that you would also need to consider bringing in those who would be willing to say a Muslim prayer, a Buddhist prayer, a Catholic prayer, any or all of the above.
It's amazing. The 2 people you heard there, they were on the far left, and I think third from the left there. Those were 2 students, not school board members. I know it's a little hard to hear there, but they were saying, the girl said, I personally am an atheist, and I think there are a lot of people with different religions in the schools. I think it would be disrespectful, she said. The guy chimed in to say he agrees and that there's enough controversy involving the Pledge of Allegiance, and he's right, because that's a dumb thing to say. Why bring more controversy into something that doesn't need it? And he also pointed out, if you open that door, you will have to bring in people who want to say a Muslim prayer, Buddhist prayer, Catholic prayer. He didn't mention Satanists, but yeah, you know those people are coming. Atheists would want to deliver secular invocations of sorts. Those two students had the guts to say what none of the adults in the room seem to understand at all. School board meetings are not a substitute for church. It is their job to work for the district and the students, not preach to people who were never asking for it. Now, this all happened, like I said, late January, and the Freedom from Religion Foundation sent a letter to that school board that basically reiterated what those students just said. And they pointed out a couple things that I want to share with you here. The first is this right here. If the board starts opening its meetings with prayer, it will subject the district to unnecessary liability and potential fine drain. They pointed out that when they sued Chino Valley High School school district in California because they were praying at school board meetings, the court ordered the district to pay more than $200,000 in attorney's fees. And you could see in the rest of that top paragraph, after appeal, they had to pay an additional $75,000. The total cost to the district was over $250,000. Stupid. This district doesn't have to do it. And look at what else they say. Students and parents have the right, and often reason, to participate in district board meetings. It is coercive, insensitive, intimidating to force non-religious citizens, such as our complainants, to choose between making a public showing of their non-belief by refusing to participate in the prayer or display deference toward a religious sentiment in which they do not believe. And again, basically the question here is, well, hey, didn't the Supreme Court say prayer at government meetings is legal? And no, like they said, if there's a city council meeting, yeah, you can have prayer, but it's got to be open to everybody. But they also specified, at least this is how courts have interpreted it, that doesn't apply to school board meetings because kids may be there. And it's about children specifically. And so because of that, the case law is not on the school district side. It doesn't say that just because you can have prayer at government meetings, that applies to school board meetings. That is not how it works. And the cool thing is, the school district already responded to FFRF's letter, and they responded to basically what those kids were saying. I'm going to show you what the school district wrote back to FFRF because this is incredible. This is the whole letter. It is extremely short. Dear attorney and legal assistant, we are in receipt of your letter. We have not taken any action on the matter. It was strictly a discussion. Signed the superintendent. Like, stop threatening to sue us. Those idiots were discussing a stupid thing, but they were just talking about it. They didn't vote on it. So don't be mad at us, says the superintendent of the district, which is fantastic. Like, that's fine. I'm glad they haven't taken a vote on it. I hope they never take a vote on it. And as long as it stays that way, this district will not get sued. Why? Because two students spoke up and did what none of the adults in the room would do. Because they had to remind school board members that their job is not to cosplay as preachers. It is to help students. And so at least for now, they may have averted a crisis. But who knows how long that'll last.